Hey, First Baptist. Hope you're doing well. A couple quick things. First off, April 11th, if you didn't hear, we're planning on moving indoors. We got a couple things to take care of with the new sound system, so we've got to get that ironed out first, but we got a target date, so looking forward to that. I know we are grateful for our building and looking forward to using it a little more again. So that's coming, Lord willing. So April 11th. Second thing, I just wanted to share with you about something that Nicole and I were talking about. And I think a lot of us, especially if you've maybe grown up in the church or you're type A personality, a little bit performance driven, this might be helpful for you. And it has to do with how we evaluate ourselves and really the role that we give ourselves in evaluating ourselves. A lot of us who are performance driven, we're constantly evaluating ourselves. And I think of a couple passages. One is in 1 Corinthians 4, where Paul is talking about people who just ministry being evaluated, and he ends up saying something along the lines of, I don't even judge, he says, I don't even judge myself. Ultimately, it's the Lord who judges me, right? And I'm not sure any of us, some of us have troubles going there. Could you really say that? I don't even judge myself. It's the Lord who, God's the ultimate judge. Some of us just stop with ourselves. We judge ourselves. We're the evaluators, and we kind of leave God out of that picture, and we don't think about, wait, what are His standards and how does He evaluate us? See, we start to set up our own standards, and we kind of add them onto God, and we kind of take God's place in setting the standards, and then we get help from the world. The world tells us this is what a perfect parent looks like, or this is what you have to do to take care of your body, or this is what you must do to, consider yourself successful in your career, or this is what you must do in order to be a good parent or a good friend or whatever, right? And we have you must dress this way in order to, and then we kind of take that and we develop our own standards as if we were God. And I know we'd say, no, I really believe God is the one who is the lawgiver, and he's the judge and we're not. But functionally, often in our daily lives, we leave ourselves out. And we've got this standard, it's super high, and it's added on all these things that God never talks about, but we have these standards, and then we fail and we condemn ourselves. We've both made ourselves into God, like a God in place of God. We've made ourselves the lawgiver and the judge. And so, I'm a terrible mom, or I'm a failure when it comes to taking care of my body, or I'm just a disaster when it comes to my career. And well, wait, did God say that you had to do that? Is that His standard of what a perfect parent looks like? Is it His standard of exactly how you have to provide for your family and what standard of living you have to provide for your family in order to be righteous in some way and not be condemned? Or is it your standard? Is it the world's standard? Is it some sense of performance in your own heart? And a lot of us, we became the lawgivers, making up a law in place of God, and then we condemn ourselves based on that. And we condemn others based on that. And we just need to step back and remember, wait a minute, that's not our place. We need to bring God back in the picture. What has He actually said that He calls you to as a wife or a husband or a parent, as a friend, as one who's supposed to take care of your body? What has He actually said? What has He actually said about what it looks like to provide for your family? Or what it looks like to be a good neighbor or church member or whatever, right? And what part have you added on and then piled self-condemnation on top of that? So a lot of this comes back to believing in God. He's the lawgiver. What law, what standards has He actually given? And then what verdicts has He actually given? On the one hand, there will be ways where you have indeed fallen short of what God actually says, right? And that's much more important than whether you fall short of your own standards. He's far more important than you are. So when you fall short of His standards, that's more important. Whether you fall short of your own standards is not so big of a deal. So what is His verdict? Are there ways you have indeed fallen short? But then that's not the only side of His verdict, right? As Christians, we know that in Christ, his verdict is not condemnation. There is no condemnation for those who are in Christ. Instead, we know that his verdict is righteous. This is my beloved child in whom I am well pleased. Righteous, justified in Christ. And so when we leave God out of this, and it's our standards and then our verdict, you're just stuck in performance and condemnation. It's only when you bring God in and say, no, his standards and his verdict, that we have truth. And that and only in that do we have freedom and forgiveness and righteousness that is found in Christ. So let's get away from us being the lawgiver and then the judge of ourselves, and let God be the lawgiver and the judge of us. And not only the judge, but also the justifier of us. So hope that's helpful. I know some of us, I think that will really connect with, and others maybe not so much, but love you guys, and let's keep this conversation going. Have a good one. Bye.